Hi there, I'm Andy Hillier, and in this guitar lesson I'm going to teach you how to play a fingerstyle, finger-picking arrangement of River Flows in You. I've done a cover version of it, go and check that out. I'll try and leave a link in the description and put a card up there. It's a really nice arrangement. There's loads to get through. I wasn't going to do a tutorial, but people have asked for it, so I'm going to do it. I'll leave the tabs for this on my Patreon account that I've set at just £1 a month, because there's 2 pages of it, so you can print it all off. And it will make it a lot easier for you to understand what we're doing. But I will put the tabs on the screen as well. Just before I teach you it though, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, giving me a like on the video, leaving me some comments in the comment section, let me know where in the world you're from, if you're enjoying it, any song requests as well, put them in the comment section, and I'll try and do a video for you. So let's get started. We've got 2 pages to learn. The guitar's in standard tuning, but I've got a capo on the 2nd fret. Okay, so the first little phrase goes... So for that, we're playing D2 and E3 at the same time. And then I'm playing open B and E2 at the same time. Back to E3, E2, E3 and A3. Then B3 and G, E3, and then B1. So the first bar. Into the second bar, we've got a G and a B, which leads into the third bar, which the third bar is almost the same as the first bar without a few extra hits. So you've got... So hopefully that should be pretty straightforward. So let's just try the first line. We'll ignore the 2 notes at the end. And you've got to play it a bit free. Don't play it in time, you just like play it nice and relaxed like this. Have a little slow down on that, and then we've got that G and then B, which goes into the next line. Now the first bar of the next line goes, which is your first finger on D2, probably third finger or little finger on E3. You play those at the same time, then open G, and then hammer on from fret 2 to 3 on the E string. Then back to the D, that hammer on again from 2 to 3 on the E string. A3, G, B3, E3, and then G, B1, and G. So that bar goes slowly. Into the next bar we've got, which is E3 and B, B1, B3 and G at the same time, then B, G2 and D4 at the same time, open G and then D4 afterwards. So that bar 6 goes, and into the next bar, bar 7, we've got, which is D2 and G at the same time, A2, D2, G, hammering onto G2, then A3 and B at the same time, D, G, B, hammering onto B1, so bar 7. And the last bar, play E3 and B3, D, G, B1 pulling off to open B, and then D and G2 at the same time. So that's... So the whole line slowly goes. On to the next line. The first bar is almost identical to the previous line. So bar 9, it's just got an A3 on beat 4. So you got into the next bar, bar 10. We're going to hold down, I'm barring my first finger on fret 3, and I've got E3 and G4, hammer onto G5, then B3, E7, then I'll use my little finger on E7, and then the little finger I move it back to fret 5 on the E string and play a D string at the same time. Then B3, E5, E2 pulling off to E3 pulling off to E2. So bar 10. Bar 11, we've got, which is the same as was on the, actually no, it's slightly different to what was on the previous line. So we've got E3, B3 and D2, then A2 and then D2, G hammering onto G2, A3 and B at the same time, open D, G, B, hammering onto B1, so bar 11. And bar 12, playing E3 and B3, D, G, B1 pulling off to G, and then open D and G2 at the same time. And it does that little hammer on pull off from 3 to 5, back to 3, then pull off to fret 2. If you struggle to do those as pull offs, you could just play them. I wasn't sure which way I was going to do it on the record, or when I did the cover version, but I decided to do it as pull offs, but you could do it. Sounds nice as well. So that bar 12 goes. So the whole line slowly goes. And again, you can play it a bit freer than that. You don't have to play it perfectly in time, just kind of go with it. On to the next line. We've got just 2 bars, just because there's lots of notes to get in. We've got, sorry. So this is, I struggled to kind of work out arrangement that made this kind of work, but I think it sounds quite nice. Play D2 and E3, then G, B3, G, then the hammer on and pull off going 3, 5, 3, 2, same as we did before, and then A3 and E3, G, B3, G, then that same hammer on 3, 5, 3, 2. So that bar 13 goes. Up to speed, that's quite fast. And then this bar, this was the tricky one. Play E3, both E3s actually, and then E5, and then I played an open D string and fret 7, and I moved my first finger up to there. So we got, and then we're going to play E8, E10, E7, and then on the B string, fret 10 and then fret 8. You've got to remember that you're 2 frets up, so when you get further away from the capo, it feels weird because you think you're playing like fret 12, but it's actually fret 10. So where 12 would normally be, that's fret 10. So yeah, you just got to work out, it's just 2 lower, so you go so slowly. And then we play D and E2, then G2, and then that hammer on and pull off thing. So that bar's probably the trickiest bar in it. So the whole line goes. And the next line, is it exactly the same? Almost exactly the same. Just the last bar, or the last beat goes. It's just a slight different rhythm on those. The hammer on, instead of it doing it straight, it goes. You're gonna go. So that line goes. Okay, and the next line, similar idea, but again we're doing rather than for those hammer-ons. So you got and then the next line starts the same as that. So that one's straight, then so a little variation on the end of that one. You got D and E2, then G2, B3 and G2, and then a little bit of a hold on that. You wait, and then the next line is similar to kind of like the second line in the song, slight variations. So the first bar you got. So that slowly goes. Then we've got this next bar. That's all stuff we've played before. The next bar, kind of, well, it sounds like this. So we're playing E3, B3 and G3, so we're in bar 23 here. Then to A3, back to D, D2, then G, hammering onto G2, A3 and B at the same time, G hammering onto G2, B, then B hammering onto B1. So that bar slowly goes. And then in the next bar goes. Which is E3 and B3, hammering onto B so B to B1, then hitting B3, B1 pulling off to B, D and G2 at the same time, B1 pulling off to B, G2, and then the E sort of goes into the next line, so that bar 24 goes. So that whole line goes. The next line starts the same. Little change here, it goes 7, 5, 3, 2. So hammer on, pull off 7, 5, 3, and then slide down to fret 2. And then the next two bars are almost identical to the previous line. We've got. So almost the same, just at bar 28. You're putting that little hammer on 3, 5, 3, 2 on the end. And then the last line, it just repeats around. I actually made a mistake when I did my cover version. I played a wrong note, but then I just kind of kept playing and made it up. But what I meant to do was just keep going around this. So it's the same as what we had before. Slowly it'll be. keep repeating around that. You can do it slow, you can do it fast, whatever works for you. Well, if you managed to get all through that, well done. It's quite a lot to get through. I'll put the tabs for that on my Patreon account. I'll leave a link in the description down below, then you can print it off. You've got all 2 pages, it'll make it easier. Go and check out my cover version of it. If you like what I'm doing, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, which is Andy Hillier, giving me a like on the video and leave me comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know where in the world you're from, and any song requests, anything you want to do, leave a comment down below and I'll try and do a video for you. Thanks for watching this. I've been Andy Hillier and I'll see you next time.